Ollie and the Crystal Grove Adventure. Once upon a time, in a village surrounded by lush, misty woods, lived a curious young boy named Ollie. Ollie had bright, eager eyes and an adventurous spirit that often led him to explore the world around him. One day, while playing in the backyard, he found something strange, a shiny pebble that seemed to glow faintly. Intrigued, Ollie picked it up and noticed a tiny engraved symbol on it, an arrow pointing deep into the forest. The next day, Ollie could not resist the call of adventure. With his trusty backpack and a curious mind, he followed the arrow's direction. The forest was alive with sound rustling leaves, birds chirping, and the soft creaking of branches. The air smelled of earth and fresh pine needles. Ollie moved further, away from the familiar trails, and the deeper he went, the more magical everything seemed to become. Just when he thought of turning back, he stumbled upon something incredible. Hidden behind a curtain of willow branches was a glowing grove, filled with sparkling crystals growing out of the ground. These crystals shone in every color imaginable: pinks, blues, greens, and purples. They lit up the entire grove with a mystical glow, and in the middle of it all stood a giant crystal tree with translucent branches shimmering in the dappled sunlight. Ollie's eyes widened as he moved closer to the crystal tree. At its base, he noticed a tiny creature scurrying about. It was a squirrel, but not just any squirrel. Its fur shimmered like moonlight, and its eyes were as clear as polished gems. The squirrel seemed flustered, searching for something between the crystals. Ollie crouched down and spoke gently. "Hello there, little friend. What's wrong?" The squirrel paused and looked at Ollie. To Ollie's amazement, it spoke. "Oh, dear boy, I've lost the heart crystal. Without it, our grove will lose its magic." The little creature's voice trembled, and Ollie could see how much it mattered. Without thinking twice, Ollie offered his help. "I'll help you find it." The squirrel's eyes sparkled with hope, and it nodded eagerly. "Thank you. But beware. The heart crystal is in the hands of the mischievous fog goblins who live in the misty hollow." Ollie gulped. He'd heard tales of the fog goblins, tricksters who loved puzzles and games, but he couldn't back down now. With the moonlit squirrel guiding him, Ollie set off deeper into the woods. Soon they arrived at Misty Hollow, where everything seemed to be wrapped in a thick fog. Strange, muffled giggles echoed around them, and Ollie could make out small figures darting behind the fog. The goblins were definitely nearby. "We have a visitor!" a voice cackled. From the mist, a goblin emerged with pointy ears, a wide grin, and wearing a coat adorned with tiny bells. It jumped up and down, clearly amused. "If you want the heart crystal back, you must solve our puzzle," the goblin declared, holding out a crystal that gleamed a deep, shimmering red. Ollie nodded bravely. "What is your puzzle?" The goblin clapped its hands, and suddenly 3 riddles floated in the air before Ollie. The first riddle read, "I have branches, yet I have no leaves. I shimmer bright, and under me you can weave." "What am I?" Ollie thought hard, and then it clicked. "The crystal tree," he shouted. The goblin nodded, and the first riddle vanished. The second riddle appeared. "I reflect without speaking. I glow without a flame. You see me best in the stillness. What am I called by name?" Ollie paused, then smiled. "The moonlit pond." Again, the goblin nodded, and the riddle disappeared. The third and final riddle floated up. "I am something you can hold, but also something you can share. I grow as you give me. What am I? Please beware." This one made Ollie think deeply. He looked at the squirrel and remembered why he was there. He smiled confidently. "A friend!" The goblin let out a surprised cheer. "You are correct. The heart crystal is yours," it said, tossing the crystal gently to Ollie. Ollie caught it with both hands and sighed in relief. The goblins disappeared into the fog, giggling as they went, and the mist cleared, leaving Ollie and the moonlit squirrel alone in the hollow. Back in the crystal grove, Ollie placed the heart crystal at the base of the crystal tree. A brilliant light filled the grove, making the crystals shine brighter than before. The squirrel squeaked in delight. "You did it, Ollie! You saved our home!" As a reward, the crystal tree gifted Ollie a small crystal shard, glowing softly. The squirrel explained, "Keep this, and you will always find your way back to the grove whenever you need it." With a heart full of joy and a glowing crystal shard in his pocket, Ollie returned home. He knew he had discovered a magical world, and it was just the beginning of many more adventures to come. And that night, as he drifted off to sleep, the crystal shard glowed gently by his bedside, reminding him that magic is always closer than we think. The end.